Hilchos Taaniyos Perek Shlishi, the laws of fast, chapter 3. Yesterday we began the list of communal fasts, reasons why a community of Jews would fast, and the last category was over issues of rain. Yesterday we saw that if you have too much rain, or the rain starts and stops, that's reasons to fast. Today, the discussion is turning to a case where there is no rain at all. What does a Jewish community in Israel do when there is no rain at all? This was like the most major reason of cause for fasting, because it directly affected the economy and the Jewish people completely, because it was an agrarian society. If you didn't have rain, that's it, you didn't have food, you didn't have a life. So the fasts on rain had a whole system to them, and that's what we're going to start learning today and continue tomorrow. Says the Rambam, halacha aleph, harei shelo yardu lahem geshamim kol ikar mitchilas yemois hagshamim. Let's say no rain came down at all from the beginning of the rainy season. Technically in Israel, the rainy season begins on Zayin Cheshvan, the 7th day of Cheshvan. That's when we begin to ask for rain. The Jews would travel to the temple for the holidays, Sukkot. We wanted to make sure that the last person could get home, which is about a 2-week journey. And so we only began to ask for rain on the 7th of Cheshvan, and that's when the rain is supposed to come down. But if no rain is coming down, im higia yud zayin, shiva asar, b'mar Cheshvan, v'lo yardu geshamim, if the 17th day of Cheshvan came, and no rain has fallen yet, maschilin talmidei chachamim bilvad, only Torah sages began lihis anois to fast. Sheni v'chamishi v'sheni. They fasted Monday, Thursday, Monday, as we've seen already a few times. Fasts for rain are organized in series of 3. Monday, Thursday, Monday. But this one was specially reserved for Torah scholars. V'chala talmidim ru'yin lekach. All students of Torah are fitting for this. Other times in the Rambam says that if you're a lower level Talmid Chacham, you shouldn't do certain practices, what's called mechazeh kiyuhara. You don't want to look like you're too haughty. But in this case, as long as you study Torah, if you're a student of the Torah, you're allowed to fast during these preliminary fasts. Not all the Jews are fasting, only the rabbis and the big sages. It's fascinating to note that the 17th day of Cheshvan is the day the Mabul began. The flood, the great flood, began on the 17th of Cheshvan. And it's associated even in halacha with rain. That's like the first demarcation line. If no rain comes down by this day, then the sages begin to fast. Beis higia resh chedesh Kislev v'lo yardu geshamim. If the new month of Kislev arrives, now a whole month essentially has passed. It's supposed to have rain that hasn't rained yet. The new month of Kislev arrives, v'lo yardu geshamim. No rain came. Now we move from the sages to the community. Beis din goizrin shalosh taaniyos al hatzibur sheni v'chamishi v'sheni. This is in this picture, round 1, the yellow squares. The court would make a decree, everybody has to fast now, Monday, Thursday, Monday. However, these were lenient fasts. In round 1, this is round 1, there is a bunch of leniencies. First of all, umutarin bahen lechol v'lishtois balaylo. It's not a 24-hour fast. You're allowed to eat and drink the night before. So if the fast is on Monday, Sunday night you could have a full dinner. The anshe mishmar ein misanin nimohen. The kohanim, who had the rotation of that week, wouldn't fast with them because they are busy with the temple service. This is going to be a discussion at length in the 8th book of the Rambam. David HaMelech and Shmuel HaNavi divided all the families of the Kohanim into 24 groups. And it was a rotation, a weekly rotation. Every week, your family was called the Mishmar, the watch for that week. This entire family would come to the temple, and they would be in charge of everything that went on during the week. But not everybody was there every day. Each family would then divide its Kohanim into 7 groups, such that every day had a special group of Kohanim. So if you were a Kohen, essentially you would serve in the temple one day a year, every 24 weeks. About twice, 3 times a year. David's a Kohen, I don't know if we don't know which Mishmar you belong to, but when Mashiach comes, you find out. And so there was a week where you had to be in Yerushalayim, but only one day when you would actually get to serve in the temple. So the weekly rotation is called the Mishmar, that's the watch. The daily rotation is called the Beit Av, the house of this father. In other words, it was a specific family within the larger family that would serve each day. So the Rambam says over here, in round 1 of the fasts, the Kohanim wouldn't fast. Where's my picture here of round 1? Yeah, not for Kohanim. See the second line? Anshe Mishmar ein misanin niman, because in other words, not only the daily people, let's say it's your day on Monday, right? So you would think, okay, those Kohanim who are working on Monday, they shouldn't fast. No, the whole week, whoever's involved that week doesn't fast because they're busy with the temple service. Additionally, v'chol ha'am nichnasim lebate knesiyos u'mispalelin v'zeyakin u'mischanenin. All the people go into the local shuls and they daven and they cry and they pray. Praying for these fasts happened in shul. We're going to soon see that in the later fasts, all the Jews would gather in the town square and there was a massive prayer service that was held. But during round one, you daven in shul. That's the third line, you pray in shul. Kederach sho'isin b'chol Taaniyos, as we do on all fasts. And he doesn't mention it here, but work is allowed. Of course, we're going to see in later fasts, work is not allowed. That's why I wrote it over here that work is allowed. So it's pretty lenient. You can eat by night, Kohanim don't fast, you daven in shul, and work is allowed. Gimel, Avru, Elu, V'leinanu, if these first round of fasts, the yellow squares, if they pass, and the Jews were not answered, Beis Din, Goizrin, Shalish, Taaniyos, Acheres ala tzibur. Now the court comes and makes another round of 3. And here in our Rambams we have Sheni v'chamishi v'sheni. Another round of Monday, Thursday, Monday. That's the green squares over here. Round 2, Monday, Thursday, Monday. And I told you the other day that there's an argument about this. Some people say that the green fasts actually went Thursday, Monday, Thursday. Other texts of the Rambam have that. Thursday, Monday, Thursday. Second round was right away. So you do Monday, Thursday, Monday. If no rain comes Tuesday, Wednesday, Bet Din comes up, Thursday already we're fasting. But according to the standard texts, we're dealing with the green over here, Monday, Thursday, Monday. Okay? And now round 2 gets more strict. Says the Rambam, V'shalish elu, on these 3 fasts, oichlin v'shaisin miba'id yayim. You can only eat and drink while it's still day the day before. No eating by night. That's the first green line. K'may shaisin b'tzayim kippur, as we do on Yom Kippur. You have to finish eating before sunset. The Anshe Mishmar, this time what about the Kohanim? So here I wrote that the Kohanim fast for part of the day. Now what that actually means is, the Rambam divides it. The people of the weekly rotation, if it was your week but not your day, mis'anin miktsas hayayim v'lei mashlimin. You only fast part of the day to identify with the Jewish community, showing that you're fasting, but you don't finish the fast. Because in some form or other, you're still involved in the temple service. The Anshe Beis Av, the people of the house of the Father. In other words, it was their day, Monday, the day of the fast, or Thursday. It was their family's chance to actually serve in the temple. Those are the Kohanim that are doing the service that day. They don't fast at all. So when I wrote Kohanim fast part, it means the Kohanim of the weekly rotation fast for part of the day. The Kohanim of the daily rotation don't fast at all. Any fast, which the law is that you can only eat while it's still day, the moment you stop eating and you decided not to eat anymore, even if it's not sunset, you don't go back and eat, even if there's time left in the day. It's kind of like Erev Yom Kippur, where we eat the meal, the Sudah HaMafsekes, that meal that stops. It's like the marking line, the cutoff time, exactly. And according to halacha, once you finish that meal, you can no longer eat, unless you make a stipulation. So over here also, the Rambam says, if you ate and you decided not to eat anymore, you're done. Now the commentaries here argue because they say that it's not like Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is very strict. You have to stop earlier. Here, even if you stopped eating, your official meal, you can still keep eating till sunset. But the Rambam nevertheless says, no, you stop eating, you decide not to eat, you're done. Now here, the Rambam adds, Dalid b'shalish Taaniyos elu, during these 3 fasts, round 2, so they're still praying in shul, that's the 3rd line, but the 4th line is what changes. Kol ha'am asurin ba'asiyas malacha bayom. By the day of the fast, even though you're fasting already from the night before, but by day you cannot do any work. Umutarin balayla, they're allowed by night. Ba'asurin b'rechitzas kol haguf b'chamin, you also cannot wash your entire body in hot water. Aval panav yadav v'raglav mutar, the basics. Your face, your hand, your feet, them you're allowed to wash in hot water, but not your entire body. Therefore they would lock all the public bathhouses because it was just not open for business. You're also forbidden to anoint yourself with creams and ointments. If it's to get rid of dirt or a foul odor, then you can do it. But just as a pleasurable act, it's forbidden. It's also forbidden to have marital relations. You also cannot wear leather shoes if you're in the city. If you're traveling on that day, you can wear because it's uncomfortable to travel without leather shoes. And again, you daven in shuls. That's where you pray. That's where you cry out to Hashem, like any other fast. Now we get to round 3. Where's my picture of round 3 over here? Avru elu v'loinanu halacha hey. If these fasts passed and the Jews still weren't answered, there's still no rain, Beis Din Goizrin Sheva Taaniyos Shacharis Alat Tzibur. We came to round 3. Round 3 wasn't just 3 days, it was 7-day fast. Monday, Thursday, Monday, Sheni v'chamishi, v'sheni v'chamishi, v'sheni v'chamishi, v'sheni. Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday. Ube'elu hasheva bilvad. Only on these 7, they're so severe. Ubareis u'menikais misanes. Even pregnant women, even nursing women have to fast. Aval b'shara taaniyos einu bareis u'menikais misanes. The other fasts, we said before, the other day also, pregnant women, nursing women, they don't fast. Now, just because you don't fast, it's not a license to do whatever you want. Even though they're not fasting, even pregnant women, nursing women shouldn't, indulge themselves in pleasurable things. They should eat and drink only what's required to maintain their babies, their fetuses. But the last 7 fasts, super strict. Even they have to fast. In these 7 fasts, the people of the weekly rotation, the Kohanim, had to fast the entire day. And even the Kohanim of the daily rotation had to fast for part of the day. They wouldn't complete the fast. So when I wrote Kohanim fast the full fast, I meant the weekly rotation, they fast the full fast, but even the daily have to fast partly. Whatever is forbidden during the 3 middle fasts is also forbidden in the 7 last fasts. These fasts have more laws attached to them. Shebahen bilvat, that only on these 7 fasts, masriyin, first of all, we blow trumpets. Umisparolin b'rechayv ha'ir, we daven in the city, the town square. We'll see tomorrow how this is done. It's a whole process, town square. Umaridin zakein lohichiach la'am kadesh yashuvu midarkam. They would bring an inspiring speaker, an old man who would rebuke the nation to make them do teshuvah from their ways. Umaisifin sheish brachos b'tfilas Shacharis u'b'tfilas mincha, and they would add 6 full blessings to the text of the Shemona Esrei morning and afternoon service. V'nimtzu mispalolin arba ve'esrim brachos, for a total of 24. We say Shemona Esrei means 18 because there's 18 blessings typically in Shemona Esrei. Today we have 19. We added 1 for the heretics, but on fast days, it was a 24 blessing Shemona Esrei because they would add 6 blessings. Not only is work not allowed, they would lock all stores. Except, because the fast days were only on Mondays or Thursdays, so the Rambam says, Ubasheni matin le'es erev. On the Mondays of the fasts, matin means you leave it a little bit open. They would leave the store doors a little bit open, and open the stores for business, so people can come to the end of the fast and get some food. But it wouldn't be officially open. On Thursday it was open all day because of Shabbat. You have to prepare, even if you're fasting that day, you have to go grocery shopping for Shabbos. Even on Thursdays though, if your store had 2 entrances, front and back, or 2 sides, you should only open 1 entrance. In other words, do something to show that we're in a fast mode. If the store has a display area, like a little bar, I think I showed it to you when we were learning the laws of the Eruv or Shabbat. I couldn't find the picture today, but basically they would have, it was like a row, think of like the market, like a shuk machaneh type of a thing, In Israel you have this long alleyway of a market, and each store would get like a little structure along the lines of this market, where they can kind of go, it's like a little indented space. They would set up their stuff there, and they had a little countertop in the front where they would display their wares. So the Rambam says, you can open it up normally on Thursday, you don't have to worry. It's such a little type of store, it's not such a big violation of the work law. That's round 1, round 2, round 3. 3 fasts, 7 fasts. If you're following the timeline, Rosh Chodesh Kislev is the first 3 fasts. And then it goes right after that into it. Every time you had Rosh Chodesh in the middle, you had to interrupt the fast. So this would get you to, about the month of Tevet. Because if you think about it, it's about 8 weeks. So Kislev, Tevet is about 2 full months, essentially. It's deep into the wintertime. Avru elu v'lo nanu, if even the 7 fasts passed, and the Jews still weren't answered, mematin b'maso matan. Now, no more fasts. However, the Jews went into like this, default mourning mode. Everything would be toned down. Business was lessened. Ubibinyan shel simcha. You wouldn't make any buildings which signified happiness. Tziyur v'kiyur, painting, like engraving, like murals, different art into your house. You would stop doing that. Ubinetiya shel simcha. You wouldn't even plant things which just bring you joy. Mine hadas or mine aholim, like types of myrtles, types of aloe. We stop weddings. We don't do engagements. Unless you haven't yet fulfilled the mitzvah, the biblical mitzvah of having 2 children, a son and a daughter, then you can get married during that time. But otherwise, if it's a second marriage or different thing, no, we're out. Not only that, if you're a man who's already fulfilled the obligation to have children, all throughout this time of hunger for the Jewish people, you cannot engage in marital relations. It's actually learned from a Torah portion coming up soon. When Yosef goes to Egypt, so during the 7 years of hunger, right, it was first 7 years of plenty, and then 7 years of famine. So in the years of famine, the whole Egypt was starving. And the Torah tells us, Uli Yosef yulad shnei banim b'terem tavo shnat hara'av. Yosef had 2 children before the year of hunger came about. So from there we learn that during the years of hunger, you don't engage in relations. The whole people is suffering. You personally, suffer along with them. So again, all part of this general, toning down of the Jewish spirit. Because when Hashem doesn't bring rain, it's considered to be like it's a display of anger. We would stop even like saying hello in casual ways between people. Students of the sages would never even, inquire about somebody's well-being. They would act as if they were nazuf. Nazuf means like excommunicated, ostracized by Hashem. If a regular guy would give them hello, they would just answer, very weakly and very seriously. And at this point, we can no longer make the entire Jewish people fast. It's too much fasting. But Talmidei Chachamim, Chayzrim Levadam, those sages who did the 3 preliminary fasts, they go back now and continue to fast. Sheni v'chamishi v'sheni ad sheyetze nisan shel tekufa. They would go Monday, Thursday, Monday. Keep fasting every 3 days, Monday, Thursday, Monday, until the Nisan of the Tekufa, the spring equinox, passes. Avalei hatzibur, not the community. We don't go more than 13 fasts for the public over rain. When these individuals fast until the month of Nisan, until the spring equinox passes, it's like the round 1 fasts. They're allowed to eat at night. They can do work, they can wash, they can anoint themselves, they can have relations, they can wear leather shoes. Like any other fast day. And of course, as every new month comes, if it falls on a Monday or a Thursday or a Monday, you skip and you go after Rosh Chodesh. Once the spring passes, when the sun reaches the beginning of Taurus, in other words, it's about 30 days because it takes the sun 1 degree per day, since it entered Aries till it enters Taurus, about 30 degrees of travel. Once that happens, ein misanim, we don't fast anymore. Because the whole idea of fasting is like praying to Hashem, bring us rain. But once Nisan passes, there's no more fasting. For rain to come now would actually be a sign of curse. Since they haven't even come down once since the beginning of the year, for them to start coming down.
Why curse?
In the summer, it's considered to be a curse. Why is it considered to be a curse? They say over here, since the land has already become parched, the rain will be of no benefit. For God to display His beneficence at such a time, after the time has passed, when the rain could have helped, is a further sign of divine disfavor. In other words, the fact that there is no rain, yes, or that I haven't even grown. The fact that there's no rain all winter means that Hashem doesn't like us. Then He brings the rain, like when it can't even help, that's like, even more. Yud, the Rambam gives now a caveat for the whole chapter. When does this entire system apply? 3 days, 7 days. Be'eretz Yisrael v'chal adayim. Only in Israel and any place that has a similar climate to it. But if you're in a place where your rainy time is before the 17th of Cheshvan or after it, you live in the southern hemisphere, it's a whole different system of seasons. When their time comes and rain doesn't come, then the individual should begin fasting preliminarily 3 fasts, Monday, Thursday, Monday. Of course, stopping if it's a new month or Chanukah or Purim. Then you wait about 7 days after the preliminary fasts. And if you're in Australia, let's say, and no rain came, the court would step in and make the 13 fasts. In that climate, for whatever time was needed over there. Now, of course, we're talking about a case where the court was powerful, like let's say in Babylonia, in Bavel, when all the Jews went, that's where they would do such a thing. But today in Australia, it's kind of hard for a court to step in and do such a thing. But that was the idea, that in every place, according to its place. Yud Aleph, Kol Taaniyos, Shegoyzen Al Hatzibur B'chutz Haaretz, general rule. Every fast that you make outside of Israel, even the 7 later ones, you go 3-3-7, Oichlim Bahem Balayla. We don't have this, successive getting stricter. It's all like round 1. You can eat by night. V'dinehem kedin shara taaniyos, and the law is like other fasts. She'ein goyzen al hatzibur, taaniyos in Yom Kippur. We can never make a communal fast that's treated like Yom Kippur, ela b'eretz Yisrael bilvad, u'biglal hamatar. Only in Israel and only because of rain. U'ba'osan eser taaniyos, she'ein shalosh emtzayos, sheva achronis. And only in those last 10 fasts, the 3 middle and the 7 last, that's when we can go by night. But anywhere else in the diaspora, any fast is like a regular fast, and you can eat by night, you can do work, etc.